You know, this video is going along great, but then while I was researching it, I found out that the Nimona movie got cancelled because Disney closed Blue Sky Animations, and you know what? I may have had to lay on the floor for a good spell to recover, so this video, it's going great. Hello, I'm Jenna and you're watching another WWM Productions video, and today I'm talking about book adaptations that I'm excited for the most part. I'm so original with this idea, and I know I mentioned it some time ago on the podcast, but look, now I'm finally making it. Woohoo! Today I'm just going to be talking about some book to film adaptations that are happening that I'm excited for, because I know there's a whole stigma, I guess, of how we feel about book adaptations, but I mean, I can still be excited for them and be wary of them, and at the end of the day, they can still be pretty cool. Or really bad. That happens too sometimes. I guess I should just get this one out of the way, but the first one is Shadow and Bone, and this is one that's coming out next week actually, so I'm not going to talk about it that much in this video because you know I'm going to make another video about this, because it is based off of, well, sort of based off of my favorite book. So Shadow and Bone is based off of books by the author Leigh Bardugo, and in particular it's based off of the book Six of Crows, and even more so the book Shadow and Bone. And it's kind of an epic fantasy that takes place in a beautifully done world that you can kind of see the threads of how it's inspired by different history of ours, but for the most part it's this own sprawling world, and there are some people that are born with powers that are called Grisha, and they practice the small science. It's a whole thing, and Shadow and Bone primarily takes place in a country called Ravka that is kind of based off of Russian folklore and history. There's this thing right through the middle of the country called the Shadow Fold, and it's, you know, a wall of shadows, and there are monsters in there, and the country is not doing so well, and we meet this kind of ordinary map maker in the army, and she's traveling through the Shadow Fold when all of a sudden she does something magnificent. It's a miracle, and she is a Grisha. I'm not going to say anything more because I know that from reading the books, but there's this whole political intrigue and magic powers, and just everything about this show, from what I can tell from the trailer, just looks impeccable. The production design, the costumes, the CGI, and I mean, it has a really great basis because, first of all, it's taking characters from the Six of Crows books, and that book is just a masterpiece in and of itself, and this is the one that they're more loosely adapting, of course, just my luck. So either way, I'm just excited for that, but a lot of the problems I had with Shadow and Bone, which was a book that I enjoyed but didn't think was all that amazing, I think will be improved upon because it's not a book. Mainly, I didn't always love being in the main character's, Alina's, head, but if it's a show, I don't really have to worry about that, so that's pretty exciting to me. I've said before that I'm excited for it. I'm gonna make a whole freaking video about it, so you don't need to hear me talk about it any more than that. Next up on this list is the adaptation of Dune. I should probably look up who wrote that. Dune, based off of the books by Frank Herbert. I have not read Dune, which is a problem, I guess. Maybe I should probably read it at some point. I'm going to. I'll get there eventually. It's fine. The movie looks just really cool. I know absolutely nothing about it. It's been delayed a lot because, I mean, I wonder why. But I've heard a lot of excitement from people who have read the book that have high hopes for it, and the movie itself just looks really epic. It's been a while since they put out a trailer, but it seemed like it would be a really cool experience, and I was just excited for it because it looks like it has a great cast, the production looks really great, and it's drumming up excitement because My only other memory with like the Dune books is a friend of mine in like middle school reading it, and I had a picture of like one of like those big sandworm things, and honestly it looked ugly and plagues my nightmares. Maybe that's why I never read the books, and I know the sandworms are still gonna be in it, but like it looks a lot better than that one sandworm thing. Ergo, I might want to watch this. So I'm just really excited about it, and it's been a while since like I've seen like a really like immersive like science fiction movie that seems fairly accessible and also looks like really well done and not kind of CGI. That isn't Star Wars. It's been a while since I've seen a sci-fi movie that isn't Star Wars. I can't say anything about it being an adaptation, but I know that the book is also really old, or old enough. And I think they're making some changes, especially in like the casting and probably even beyond that. That's, I think, is really cool and something that we shouldn't be afraid to do, because just because like you have the book, and I know someone's gonna flame me for saying this, but like the book isn't king. Like you can change things, especially to fit a changing world that we have, or just the fact that you're adapting it. It can't always be the same in how we want it to be. So I don't know, I'm excited to see what actually comes of it, and it just seems like it'll be fun to watch. I hope it's good. I'll feel really silly if it's not good. Another adaptation I'm excited for is the adaptation of The Selection by Kiara Cass. Fun story. I really, really, really dislike the Selection series by Kiara Cass. Did I binge read all of them in like a week? Oh, you bet I did. Did I think they were awful? You bet. Did I have such an entertaining time with the fact that they were so bad? You know I did. The Selection essentially follows a pretty ordinary girl growing up in a dystopian America. It's really only different because it has like 15 less states, and there's a monarchy now. Has a boyfriend, breaks up with her boyfriend, decides that to get away she's going to enter the contest to become one of the girls that could potentially be the prince's wife. And she goes, and then you get like a love triangle, and oh boy. It's essentially, it tries to be the Hunger Games by being the Bachelor, and it is just a wild, wild experience that I both simultaneously never want to have again, and also had such an uproariously laughable time that I just, once I got into the first book, I just kept reading. I couldn't stop. It was almost dangerous. As the books progress, they get so much worse. Like, I thought the first book was bad. By the time I finished the third book, I was like, okay, take me back. I'm really curious to see like what route this adaptation goes, because the books are already trash. So if we're going to adapt it, I either A, want it to be so much better than the original source, or it has to be just as bad. Like, we cannot have a mediocre adaptation of The Selection. We either go all in or all out. And let's see where this goes, because you could have like a really cool like production design, and like there's a whole bunch of different dresses and things that you could have, but at the same time, I haven't looked at the casting. I feel like there's casting. They're not, I know they're in production right now, but there's no trailers or anything, so I'm really curious to see where they take these books, and I just hope that it has the feel of like a reality TV show. Just, it needs to be trash, refined trash maybe. But if they get rid of, like, the best element of this book being it's so bad you can't help but enjoy it, then I'm going to be so sad. I really want to see America Singer, like, on screen. I think that would be hilarious to see, like, actually have to, like, watch her, because being in her head was just a time to be alive. And I can appreciate all the hard work that goes into it, and at the same time still think it's bad. Because it is, but that's what makes it great. If it wasn't bad, I wouldn't be talking about that at all. And another show that's based off of a book that I really enjoyed, I think they're in development, I'm pretty sure this is happening, and that is the adaptation of Havenfall by Sarah Holland. I just thought that book was really great and cozy, and I read the sequel and I was just like, oh, even fall, yay. That book follows kind of just an ordinary teenager who every summer goes to kind of the inn that's been in her family for years, and like her uncle runs it because her mother is in prison and divorced from her father, so she goes off to this inn every year, and it's kind of just like her safe place to be like, ah, yes, like I can be myself, I don't have to deal with everybody else like looking at me and having their own opinions of me. And she goes off to this hotel and winds up having to run it during the midst of a crisis because like her uncle is like in a magically induced coma because there's all a bunch of mystery going on, and she's kind of like she's in a love triangle, kind of like, it's because she's a disaster. We love the main character because she has a long-term boyfriend, but he's acting a little sus, and there's this new girl who is also maybe a little sus, but you know, she's pretty cool, and they kind of get closer, and it's a really fantastic portal fantasy because, oh, I guess I should mention how like the magic actually comes into this book. The inn is special because it's the only place on Earth where all of these other worlds can actually like convene, and people can actually like meet and talk, and like people send delegations, and every summer there's the diplomatic event of the year essentially where all these people from the other worlds like talk and hang out and discuss trades and all the things that are happening. And so of course that's when things go wrong and the main character has to step up, and it was such a great time. There was so much mystery and intrigue, and I would just love to see it like on screen because I think like it would be a really great like popcorn show where you can just like watch it and then like every episode, or even just like on a movie too, like just like all the different things that are happening and like all the twists and turns. And I would love to see like the magic and all of the different worlds kind of just come together. The only thing I'm worried about this one is the reason I loved it so much was the writing style. Something about Sarah Holland's writing just like really got me, and I just like fell head over heels with it. I just thought it was really fantastic, and why I fell in love so quickly with it, because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I was like, oh, I mean, I've heard good things about it, but you know, I've seen also like some negative reviews. It's like, I don't know. Then I read the first chapter and I was like, oh, I vibe with this. I'm worried, but I think that there are definitely some like good bits in the story that they can really like use in adapting it, and I don't know, I have hope for it. Next one that I'm excited for on the list is the Rick Riordan adaptations that are happening. There's Disney Plus is adapting Percy Jackson. They're adapting Percy Jackson for a TV show on Disney Plus, and Netflix was like, oh, we'll raise you, and they're adapting the Kane Chronicles for movies for their platform, which is like, what a time to be alive. And if anyone remembers the original Percy Jackson adaptation, no you don't. I really love Rick Riordan's books. They're just like a part of my childhood, and I really enjoyed them, and I thought that they were really great, and that they've been missing like a good adaptation for a while now. So I'm hoping that not only will this kind of influence like kids nowadays to kind of pick up these books, so I'm hoping that by adapting them now we might actually like get more people to read them, and like, yay, continue the reading. Yay, reading. And I kind of lumped them in together here because they're both like in production right now, so there's not too much to talk about. Like, a lot of these are still in production, other than like Shadow and Bone and Dune. Like, it's weird, you have Shadow and Bone coming out next week, Dune coming out who knows when, and then these other ones that like don't really exist yet, but they do. But I'm just excited because like these books are like such a big part of my childhood that I have to know how they get adapted, and just I want to see them on the screen. Like, I love the books, I love watching things. Can we... I mean, they're funny, they have their own charms, and all of the characters, and it would just be really cool to see how they, like, bring these such, like, huge figures in, like, the kidlit world and, like, putting them on screen. I just think it would be pretty great, especially because there's a lot of representation that comes in with these books, and I just really hope that they also, like, stay the age range that they are. Looking at you, Netflix. I don't know, I just think it would be really great to have something that both, like, people who have read the books already can have, and also, like, younger people now can have as well, because I love these books, and I hope that they actually get the treatment that they deserve in Hollywood, because they deserve it. I hope that all of the books on this list get their due and get a fantastic adaptation, because I'm always so excited when there's the chance for a book to reach a wider audience and actually be adapted and see how different things translate to the screen. And books can be so diverse in a way that Hollywood just hasn't gotten yet, so it also brings about the opportunity for the screen to carry a character that is different from so much of what we already see in the media that we consume. So I'm just really excited, and I want to see how all of this plays out, and hopefully, we'll actually be able to watch movies in theaters again at some point. Hopefully we'll all be able to enjoy these when they come out and, just have a good time. And if you're looking for a good book to read and you like movies, might I suggest any one of the books on this list? It's a pretty diverse list of interests, so hopefully there's something here to enjoy. Hoping to the adaptation powers that be that everything just works out okay. And with that, I think I'm going to leave this video off there. Hopefully you didn't mind me rambling kind of about books, but also about movies. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment if there's something you're excited for or something that you want to see me make a video about. I'm always looking for suggestions because I apparently can only come up with video ideas the day before I have to post them. Leave me a comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. My channel partner Ava has a video coming out next week, and she always puts so much effort into her videos. And we also have a podcast that you can listen to on YouTube or just about anywhere else. Ava really went crazy with where she put them. And follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram now, woohoo! And we also have a TikTok. That's a new development. You should follow us on TikTok. I guess I agreed to post movie reviews as homework on TikTok. I don't know, I've never used it before. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and listening to me ramble the whole time. I hope you were able to enjoy it and you can kind of share some of the excitement with you. I thank you so much, and I leave you there. Goodbye. Who knows how anything happens in Hollywood, because I don't.